morning. We need to start again because I was going to say break things.
What's happening in my world?
That was really distracting.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today I'll be working on something technical and a little bit boring, but it's going to be, the end result is awesome. We're going to have collision representations, which is, so everything in the game has to have some sort of geometric shape that describes it for collision purposes. Now, for most of the shapes in the game right now, they're really high resolution shapes. You can see in the command chair is actually not that bad. It looks fairly low polygon, but there are definitely shapes that, I don't know, maybe the egg, look at the egg. The egg really has a little bit too many polygons for just moving against, right? In terms of the interaction between the cylinder and the egg, it can be much simpler, and it's going to make things faster and more predictable for movement. There's going to be a bunch of under sort of surface changes that you're not going to be able to see, but hopefully you'll be able to at least show that working at the end of the day.
Well, today I will be working on some alien armor changes. Trying to make sure that aliens scale well to the late game. Right now they're having some problems with that, and carapace upgrades, extra armor absorption for second and third hive. That's kind of the key there. The changes to the alien armor are really hard to see how they affect the game, and they're, it's not something you can, even in a spreadsheet, you can come up with some tools, but you really can't see how it works in the final game. And this is a big change from NS1. It's hard to say, the base point is doing it the same way NS1 did it, but it's hard to say if those were, the way NS1 did it actually were big, had big problems. So I probably should talk to some competitor players to see what they thought about it, like alien strength late game. And it's a nebulous and majorly game affecting change.
Let's see, I got some animations I need to work on. Made some headway on some turning animations for the Marine, so when he's moving around in place, he kind of like moves his feet and stuff.
Jeez.
I don't know, it's all kind of relatively easy stuff, so I wouldn't say much of it's hard. I think the turning animation has been a bit of a challenge, so we're just playing with that, going back and forth between the animator and in-game.
So today, as most days, I kind of am juggling a whole bunch of different tasks. I just finished up, kind of a stand-in screen for the prototype lab, which it'll probably be clear when people actually see what the prototype lab looks like, but there's these folding arms that come out, and it has a screen that will have a buy menu on it. So right now, we just need to get a stand-in screen done for that, for when we put the prototype lab in for patch 190, because we need to have the prototype lab in order to buy jetpacks, which are also going into 190. I'm going to be working on organizing another playtest recording session today, and I'm hoping to at some point start working on concepts for the new alien structures that Charlie is adding to the game.
Today I'm working on the level loading, so the server can change the map and all of the clients will load the new map. That's something we want to get into the next patch because we're going to be releasing a new map and we want to have the servers able to cycle between the maps. So I've been working on that for a couple days now. In the process, it seems like a simple change, but it actually requires reorganizing a lot of the code. So I spent some time and I did all that reorganizing, and now I'm kind of fixing all of the things that I broke in the process. Well, pretty much everything broke at first. I've got most of the game working now, but now it's just some details really that I need to get finished, like console commands all broke and voice chat. There's just a bunch of little things like that are, they're small but they're important.
I'm fixing a bug, a very specific bug. We have this piece of code called model mixin, and it kind of manages the concept of having a model and having a physics shape that moves around with that model, so that when the model moves its arm, the player's arm moves physically, so other players can shoot it and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm switching these two functions within our code base. There are two separate functions. One is called setModel, And what this function does is that you give it a file name and it sets that model to visually and physically and all that. And then there's another one where you set the animation graph, and that kind of sets up the entity, the PowerPoint or the Marine or whatever, to be animated and how it's going to animate and all that. So these are two separate concepts, and it causes problems when you swap them because they both have to be called. You have to call set model, then set animation. It's very confusing for even anybody, a programmer, to keep track of, that these are called in the right order. Some of them merge them into one function, so it'll just be set model, and you could also give it the graph file to use. And so I'm hoping I could do that pretty quickly, maybe in just an hour.
I mean, it's a good way for us to. We don't hold meetings at the office, so when we have lunch, this is a way for us to actually discuss new ideas and something that's been, something that has been brewing in someone's mind for a while. They might bring up at lunch, and then it might actually make its way into a feature later. So it's a good way for us to just kind of informally bounce some stuff off each other in a really unstructured way.
In terms of the whole project, that kind of stuff I think is a lot bigger than something like adding the heavy. Yeah. And of course, once we add the heavy, it'll be fundamentally broken initially, and we'll need to redo it all. And I mean, that's part of the process, but
Well, I do think adding the heavy is the biggest thing left because
there's so many aspects to it.
Yeah,
there are multiple
like 3 weapons.
There's like a whole lot of
movement.
complicated
instead of cutting
interaction
yeah,
with
how
the
you
player
jump
models,
into
like get into it.
How it scans in.
Instead of
Save everything.
Oh, there it goes.
pizza, but you have to wait for the amount of dollars.
You guys always blame me, but I like to go to places that you guys don't want to go to. So whenever I suggest Indiana gets shot down, Soma gets shot down, the Brazilian place gets shot down.
We gotta
like
Soma.
all these places, like no one ever wants to do.
There's like 2 lenses pointing at me right now. This is really disturbing. Max is taking pictures. You should film that. All right. So I'm just about recovering from the food coma after lunch, and I talked about in the morning about adding the collision representation, which I didn't think I'm going to finish today, but it's looking a lot better right now. A couple of interesting things popped out in the process. We discovered that there was some old functionality that everybody forgot about, and so there was a little bit more investigation to be done before I got all of that stuff done. But we're loading the new data into the game, so now it's just going through the game code, so the engine, to make sure that it's actually using the new data. I will do my best to actually visualize something on the screen for this evening, but I think it's looking really positive so far.
Okay. I started off this morning thinking I could just work on the alien armor upgrades, and I realized I need to look at the whole thing a little more holistically. So I'm kind of checking all the damage values in NS1 and NS2, trying to just kind of understand the whole thing. Unfortunately, some of the source code from NS1 was lost, so I had to test some stuff inside NS1 and very tediously record numbers of shots versus various aliens. But so now I'm rebalancing the Onos, and I'm actually putting in the carapace upgrade, which needs to be thought about in the same terms at the same time as the rest of the alien damage. And actually I just did some calculations in Excel, and I'm kind of happy because a lot of times these numbers they freak you out when you actually figure out how many shots does it take to kill something. And as I've learned more about design, I end up, I used to just guess at stuff, and now I try to be a lot more analytical. But when I the thing I'm excited about is that when I put the Onos values in, he's actually very different in NS2, so I thought the numbers would be totally off. He has this new hide, which takes it reduces every attack that he takes by 3 points of damage. And so anyways, I was putting in some numbers, and I'll show you here on the spreadsheet the number of rifle shots in NS1 that it took to kill an Onos. A basic Onos was 215. I might be forgetting some things, but according to my model. And then after I had guessed at all the new values with all the changes, it was 214 in NS2, the first stab. So maybe the intuition isn't so bad after all. So that's one good thing that happened. And that's all I've been working on. I'll probably be working on this for a couple more hours, and hopefully I'll have a pretty solid kind of long-term alien armor plan for the next patch.
So today, so far, I've been able to do some of the things I needed to get done. I did some touches to the placeholder objects for the new alien buildings that'll have alien upgrades. You should be seeing probably next patch or two, those will be in, and they're basically ready to go. I've kind of got derailed, and I'm working on new keypad for the door so that you can click on that instead of the actual door lock. I've been working on kind of cleaning up the animations for the Onos and adding a lot of special tags into the animation graph for triggering ragdolls, which was kind of missing and broke a little bit. So I think that's pretty much all I've been getting to. I didn't manage to do anything with turn animations yet because I'm kind of waiting on animations. And other than that, I hung up a flag, and that's about my day.
So I've been doing a mix of tasks today, and let's see, I talked to Bill, our environment artist, gave him some feedback. He's making a few changes, iterations on the model he is working on. I've been trying to get a playtest going for this afternoon as far as recording footage. I have been talking to our effects artist, and I did a quick sketch up for him for this Ono stomp ability, just to kind of convey what I was looking for in the effect. It was like a 30-second sketch. And now I am starting a pass on the alien upgrade structure sketches. I actually started out by going through some of the earlier thumbnail sketches I had done for the various alien structures that are already in the game, because in the design process for those, I kind of do a whole bunch of different concepts, and then we pick the ones which were working the best, and didn't mean the ones that we discard don't have something worthwhile to them. So I'm kind of going through and seeing if any of those could kind of translate over to these upgrade structures. Reuse some old work, save some time. So I kind of just starting that initial phase, and then I'll be sketching new ones and just seeing where we're at with that. So I think that's pretty much about it.
So I'm still working my way through the list. Got a couple of things crossed off, but actually in the process I noticed a few other things that weren't broken, so I added a couple more things to the list. So it's kind of a wash where I am right now. It's one of those things where I found a little bug with the localization system, and then you just start pulling that thread and you discover all this other stuff that needs to be changed, and it was something I hadn't even expected to be touching today. So it's the way it goes sometimes. But still hoping I'll have enough time to get through the list today.
Damn it! It still dropped me out in the middle of it. Okay. Earlier today, I was doing some technical background work of changing our API a little bit, our functionality of models. So that was the type of thing where it was a big change. When I put the code back into the repository, it ended up being like 40 files changed, which is always a scary thing to do. But everything seems to be working. Everything's animating. The view models are doing their thing. So that all, I did that all in about a half an hour. So that was nice. Sometimes those things could stretch out into multiple days, and you never really know. But that was pretty easy, and it's much better now. Let's see. So now the Marine's animating correctly, which I was having a problem with the special Marine model before. But anyway, the point being, everything's back to normal. And so then I've been working on some stuff I've been putting off since the last patch. So I got some Nano Shield sounds in. Denied. That are pretty neat. So when you hit a structure that has Nano Shield on it, it'll make a cool electric sound effect. I was in dev test. I was an alien skull can just bite eggs to test the sound effect, and out of nowhere, it just warped me to 000. Like, I didn't die or spawn or anything, but it just warped me there.
Did the game reset or something?
No, not at all. It just decided that I need to be at 000. It's really
what's
strange.
happening. I think somebody
It was
decided.
in dev test, no observatory.
We used to have the bug where like all the sound effects and effects, like hit effects, were happening at 000. So I think what they did is they just decided to teleport the model to there, so the effects will play in the right places relative
So it's
to the model.
consistent.
So it's consistent, right? Yeah. Instead of actually teleporting the effect where it's supposed to be.
I wish you wouldn't do things like that.
Well, what did you get for letting me code?
Don't swear.
I know, this warranted swearing for sure. Bug fixed again. Alright. Right, so after a hard day of breaking and fixing things, it's getting to about 6 o'clock, and we have a bunch of people on our test server there, and we'll be testing the latest build, hopefully to see that all the bugs have been fixed.
You just yeah. I mean, if there were like more problems, then I'd need to call you more, but it just like it works too well. So we just started playtesting Mineshaft, and I'm mostly looking out to see how the Onos is working and the new alien armor changes. We've had a couple missteps, so not really sure we're going to get a proper game here, but giving it a shot and trying to see how the changes work.
Sure. Yeah, we're doing the playtest now. We do this often, and it's really fun when it works, when things work. Actually, right now we're just testing the new power node animations, and everything seems to work pretty good. Pair that for me, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun, you know.
So it's the end of the day, and we're just trying to record some footage. We got a playtest going on, and everybody's running around on Mineshaft. Got quite a few playtesters in there, so hopefully we can get some good footage out of this session, as well as find some good bugs while we're at it.
Just trying to wrap up some of my changes today. Ran into some bugs, so it took a lot longer than I expected, and the bugs turned out to be just really stupid things in the end. But I got those fixed. So probably just gonna wrap up a few things, and then maybe jump into playtest and get a feel for how the build's going and how our trajectory is for releasing patch 190 at the end of next week.
He's going to kill his forge first.
Yes.
Oh no. Okay, what's going on? So it's the end of the day, and we're playtesting the build that we've been working on today. And so we had a playtest earlier, and there was quite a number of bugs that were found. But we were able to pretty quickly fix them. So far this playtest seems to be going alright. We got like 20 people in here on Mineshaft, the new map. So this is the first time in a while that we've played Mineshaft, so it's pretty exciting. But yeah, so overall, looks like a good day's work.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of this.
It's all on the top animation. Looks like those
Oh,
aren't really
that's super buggy looking.
Oh yeah, again.
Look at the bouncing,
Yeah.
bouncing bile bombs.
The bio bombs are
We have
breaking
always
right now.
had that problem.
And when you use the
Whose fault
stomp
is that?
ability on that,
Yeah.
it actually knocks them around. So it
That
actually
is
like you
awesome.
can actually kind of play soccer right now. It's pretty cute.
Too cool.